Listen. Now, I don't know if this happened at everyone's screening, but the movie duped us like that dip on Raging Bull, thinking that it had started, but it was really a Birds of Prey ad that interrupted the beginning of the movie. I don't know if this is going to be on the 4K disc. I also don't know why Warner Bros. Promoted a 2020 movie and not the clown movie they have around the corner, but hey, it's a year full of clowns. When it comes to the It remake, I'm actually a really big fan of it. We made a video on the first one over at the A to Z show that also talked about the Curry version and how it improved my 100-meter dash since I was always rushing past it at the Blockbuster aisles. Then when the remake came out, there was a bunch of clown sightings, which, I don't keep up with my clown gazette, so I don't know if they were on strike or something, but seeing as it was getting close to the release of the first one, I just thought the marketing agency for the movie went all out. I was so scared to watch it. I caught it at a studio movie grill because, they leave the lights on a bit for the waiters to walk around and give you your food. Well, how damn Kevin the waiter snuck out from behind me with my Dr. Pepper refill scared the 23 flavors out of me. So for the sequel, I was prepared. I already knew Bill Skarsgård was going to kill it, but I also knew that the real horror in the movie doesn't come from the clown, but the dread that each character has to live with. To have a clown be the least of your worries in a town where the bully carves up little boys like a tree, where a girl's biggest fear is her creepy father in her own home, where a mother's love is what suffocates her child, where the horror is reminding you that you couldn't save your little brother on the day of his death, and it's all your fault. And I kind of liked it, even though it got mixed reviews. Let me explain. So the first one took place in June of 1989, with the sequel taking place 27 years later when It returns, Jeepers Creepers style -4. The intro has Xavier Dolan getting harassed by these two homophobes, which, one, why is it that dudes not attracted to dudes are the ones most attracted to dudes? And two, Xavier, stop acting and go finish editing John F. Donovan. Now, I get why people see this installment as being a mixed bag since it's all over the place. There's more editing changes than a JPEG Mafia track. Tonally, it shifts more than Yeezus. There's an abundance of CG mixed with practical effects. It's such a jam-packed 2-hour big-budget horror film that I kind of respect it. Like, it's not all the time that we get to see a lot of money thrown at a horror movie in this Blumhouse era. Last when they get this zany with it. But I will say, I thought this half was going to be just the adults, and we end up getting a lot of the kids, and I think that could have been shown in the first, so this one would have been that long, but it also does help connect the characters to their artifacts that they left behind, plus it makes it feel like a second half and not a sequel, which is what the filmmakers wanted.
So they made you guys a little younger in this one, like de-aged.
I'm excited. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical that it will that I will sound good.
Wow. Oh, good going, fucknut. You broke his thing.
I broke it?
Yeah, you broke it with your face.
All the shifts made it feel like an anthology film to me, since the movie is divided between the characters as they go back to Derry for a rematch with Pennywise. And while I don't think it's as good as the first it still worked for me. I'll always be curious to know how that Cary Fukunaga version would have turned out, just as much as I wish we would have gotten that Sasha Queen movie. But the director and writer have had some solid outings, and it continues here. First person we revisit is Mike, who's running a recruitment camp, calling everyone up since he's the only one who stayed in Derry, while everyone else lost their memories the farther out they lived. Obviously, the Losers Club doesn't have a 4K copy of the first It, so they spent the first 90 minutes remembering everything, except for Stanley, since he didn't make the cut. But dude, if this ever happened to me at a Panda, I would express my way out of there. Damn fortune cookies look like that creepy Toy Story baby head. We get to see Bill's excellent journey of leaving Derry and becoming a scriptwriter for Warner Bros.
All due respect, people loved your book, loved. They hated the ending.
You said you liked the ending.
That was a lie.
That said, he's having more issues with Warner Bros. And Snyder, so he decides to go back home when Mike calls him up, just for Bill to get Cosby by him. As you know, the movies don't even try to balance, they just sandwich in the comedy with the dread, so we end up with a lot of great meme material during McAvoy scenes, like him trying to ride a bike, along with him proving that the all-new Hyundai Sonata's auto stop is bull.
The available automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection can help warn the driver of a potential.
And then in the mix of all that goofiness, they remind you he's responsible for his brother's death. Eddie, the funniest kid from the first movie, hands down, ends up marrying someone just like his mom, meaning she... Funny thing is that the actress playing his wife is the same actress that played his mother, so I guess the saying is true. He's still double tapping the 99.9% of germs already killed as he goes back for his artifact, which obviously would be his inhaler. Big boy Ben had himself a glow up and goes back for his yearbook, which is his artifact since Beverly signed it, and Beverly is in an abusive relationship again, which sucks since she just escaped the terrible one she had with her father, but she also looked into the deadlights, which gave her the ability to have those visions, one of which would have been knowing that Stanley was going to die.
What about me?
Like now, but taller.
Richie grows up to become a stand-up comedian named Bill Hader and is also the most beloved of the group.
You know, and I think the real first time I ever actually felt love for somebody was Eddie, you know, and his own way of dealing with it. And like a lot of comedians, you know, you're really funny, but you know, your comedy, use comedy as a boundary between other people and also as a boundary in your own feelings, you know?
It's an interesting take on Richie and Eddie's relationship that it doesn't really change any big plot points. You know, Eddie still dies, but with this interpretation, he dies before he could play striking vipers with Richie.
Best feeling ever.
Yeah? Try tickling your pickle for the first time.
Gary started as a beaver trapping camp.
Still is, am I right, boys?
I guess it also explains the overabundance of these lines in the first. Some of the other things that we see is Henry Bowers, the bully from the first one, also escaping an asylum and continuing to be as sadistic as he was in the first one, but at least they finally bully the bully. I'm not condoning fighting fire with fire, but unless you're drowning him with water, burning him to a crisp will do. Especially when you consider that our heroes win by bullying Pennywise to death anyways.
What's the matter, dog? You embarrassed? This guy's a gangster? His real name?
Pennywise.
Eddie sadly gets stabbed and dies, saving Richie since he clearly didn't disinfect the wound. But the Losers Club are finally able to get a W as they kill Pennywise, leave Derry, but this time are able to keep their memories as they move on. And that to me is one of the strongest themes in King's story and why it's been remade twice and I think will continue to get remade in the future. That idea of not suppressing your trauma, but using it to help others who have also been hurt by whatever it is. And that's the thing with Pennywise. Because to me, it represents something more than just a scary clown. It's a depression that engulfs you during grief. It's the insecurities that it can latch onto, the suicidal thoughts, the anger that won't go away, the unrelenting guilt, that darkness that comes in cycles and seems to never go away. But knowing you have others helps you get through it. Thank you guys for checking out this video. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Might as well add It Chapter 2 to the Good Boys video, the goodbyes of 2019. But I did enjoy this one. Again, not as much as the first one. Did have cool things, like I love the Stephen King cameo, and even the director, he makes a cameo in the pharmacy. But again, I caught this one late because we were at Toronto, as you know, catching some of the stuff there. We also haven't caught Ad Astra. So if there's any other movies in between, I know we were recommended Freaks, and we were recommended a couple of other ones that we're streaming to catch up on. Any of those, just let us know down below in the comment section. But yeah, so far it's been a pretty good year for horror as well. I'm not saying it's better than last year's because we did get Hereditary, but with Midsommar and the big blockbuster version like this, video coming soon for that as well. I'm curious to know what other horror movies are your standouts. Other than that, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.